Dan Hepworth, co-founder and CEO of the Massapequa Tutor, or TMT for short. And what I want to start off this video is by mentioning something that should be pretty obvious. I don't know anything about marketing. I've spoken with a number of experts in the field, but that will not make me an expert. But this is my attempt. This is my attempt to grow our brand by providing you with value. And you're probably asking yourself, what the heck does this have to do with AP exams? And you're very right in asking that, but there's actually a lot in common between what I'm doing right now and what you should be doing to prepare for your exams. And it can be summarized in just 3 words: learning by doing. That's really the only way you can become skilled at anything. I can read all the books and articles and podcasts and videos on marketing, but that won't make me a good marketer. I need to actually do some marketing. And this sounds like an obvious concept, but many students struggle with it. Why is that? I would argue the reason is self-discipline. Sitting on the sidelines is easy. As a student, you can simply skim through your notes. It's pretty straightforward. It's effortless almost at a certain point. Learning by doing, however, is tough. It's tiring. It's mentally taxing, and it should be. It's a mental workout. Think of it this way. Would you consider watching a video of someone doing pull-ups a workout? You probably wouldn't, or you shouldn't. You need to get moving, and similarly, you need to get your neurons firing. So how can you learn by doing as a student preparing for AP exams? Here are a couple of practical tips on how to do so. One is giving a lecture to nobody. Take out your notes and speak to the wall or your desk and literally pretend you're your teacher giving a lecture explaining the concepts. Initially, you're going to be just reading your notes, and that's totally fine. But once you do it 5, 6 times, you'll have a good grasp of the stuff by memorization, but ideally you'll also have an understanding of it, and you'll get to a point where you don't even need your notes. You're just looking at keywords and the ideas already in your head. So it's a way to develop mastery. Similarly, what I found to be very helpful is making a practice test and creating your own problems, because it takes a deeper level of thinking to figure out what is the teacher or the AP exam going to ask, and coming up with solutions to those problems. Because if you can do that, it's likely that you can do similar types of questions that will actually be on the exam. Quizlet's also a great tool. I've used Quizlet a ton. It's super engaging. You're typing in words, you're matching things. It really gets you thinking critically, and just don't go through the flashcards. Going through the flashcards is pretty useless. That's more on the passive side. That's sitting on the sidelines. That's just a step above really skimming through your notes, arguably. Another great strategy: redoing practice problems and examples from class. These are probably the best problems to focus your time on. They're things that your teacher thought was valuable in your very limited time in class. 40 minutes a day, it's not that much time. So what you're spending it on is hopefully the important stuff. And if you took notes well, you have the solutions as well. So you can go step by step, literally covering it with a piece of paper, seeing how do I do this. Similarly, going through your notes in particular for science classes, redrawing diagrams and rewriting your notes. This will, one, get you muscle memory. The act of writing will simply ingrain it in your mind in a way. But also what you can do is take notes on your notes. So you probably have a whole notebook full of notes, or 100 iPad pages if you're taking notes digitally. That's a lot of stuff. But if you can condense that down to 5 or 10 pages, almost like a cheat sheet or a study guide, obviously not bringing it to the exam, but it's critically engaging your mind. You're figuring out what's important here, because there's a lot of not important stuff, to be frank. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're taking APUSH or Euro or AP Lang, and you're like, how is this possible? I'm reading books. I'm memorizing facts about events in history. You can also engage yourself by doing. You got to think critically. So go beyond just memorizing facts and get to what's called synthesis, where you're taking your knowledge and using it to form opinions or generate new ideas. Oftentimes, textbooks have really good synthesis questions at the very, very bottom. Usually involving generating an argument, for example, is a good example of a synthesis type question. On that note, additional book problems is great. Your textbooks are often tailored towards the AP exam, so they have similar types of questions to make sure you're competent and proficient in the core topics. And it's very unlikely that you've done all the book problems, so going through some of the other book problems is a way to look at great questions. Pretty much the key takeaway, anything but just reading through your notes. If you're just reading through your notes, then you're not engaging your mind enough, you're not doing, you're just looking. And good tutors will get you actively learning. I really like to think of a tutor as like a personal trainer because they're showing you the way and they're also motivating you. So if you have a tutor, they should be helping you implement these strategies. Now, at the very end, I thought it would be valuable to mention that we're actually having AP exam review sessions later this month, and we want to help you implement these tools basically, since it's very tough to teach or learn a whole subject in 3 or 4 hours. So we're all about giving you the tools to then go back home and prepare in the best possible way for this exam. So stay tuned for more info. You can also check out our site, themassapequatutor.com, and best of luck with this all. Hopefully this advice helps you not only with AP exams, but whatever you want to become a master of.